Hey everybody, Dean McRae here. Hope you're all well. I'm not well, I'm really pissed. I'm going to start by saying I personally have never ever served in the military or any of the other armed forces in this country. I've got no intentions of doing it because I cannot bring myself to serve the scumbags that we've got in charge. Let me tell you, I'll stand all day, every day with our fucking veterans, our Australian veterans, our men and women who serve this country, protect this flag, and do everything they can so we can have a better life. My brother served in Rwanda. My grandfather served. You know, I absolutely respect our Anzacs. I love our Australian veterans. And here's the bottom line. We don't need a royal commission into what's going wrong with them. I'll tell you what's going wrong with them. Everything that's just happened to Ben Roberts-Smith. That's what's wrong with our veterans, is they come back here, they put their lives on the line, they risk everything, their families, their friends, any material possessions they have, to go where these dickheads send them, these lunatic tyrants in fucking Parliament. We all know I detest them at the best of times. And what they do is when they get back, they get demonised, vilified, thrown on the fucking scrap heap and treated like garbage. That's what's going on. These spineless, lily-livered, jellyfish, fat, lazy, fucking money-grubbing some bitches in Parliament, our bureaucrats, our politicians, send these men and women off, risk death, so that when they get back, we can go, you're on the scrap heap, here's a little pension, you know, your body's fucked, your mind's fucked, no services, we're not going to look after you. Oh, no, you need to look after yourself, we've trained you. Yes, these people, there's a quid pro quo as far as I'm concerned for these men and women. They sign up, they agree to go and serve our country. And they ain't going off to serve ScoMo or Albo or any of these other fucking lunatics. Right? They're going off to serve this flag and the Aussie people it represents. The hard-working people in this country. This country's been built on, while we've got all these little wankers running around who produce 2/10 of nothing and make a lot of noise, and then vilify these guys, burn the flag and crap on about the voice of the Parliament. While they're doing all that shit, these guys are being trained under the assumption that they're doing, you know, the right thing, doing what they're asked. They're trained, they're packed up, they're sent to war zones. War zones. This isn't, you know, down at the local pub where you might get a smack in the mouth. This is war zones. Bombs going off, fuckers throwing bombs and grenades and shit at you, shooting at you with live ammunition. They're trying to kill you, alright? That's what happens in these war zones. I haven't been, but I've taken the time to actually speak to people who have been, and it's not nice. And while we're over here eating our potato chips and fucking watching Netflix and, you know, keeping up with the Kardashians and whatever other bullshit, these men and women have sacrificed everything, and currently, as the prime example of all this stuff, Australia's greatest living veteran, Victoria Cross. That's about as big as it gets. You don't get a much better reward, you know, reward. I'm sure he doesn't say it as a reward, but you know, a notification, a recognition of courage, valour, strength, commitment. Again, commitment. Only to be demonised and pulled apart. Some douchebag in The Guardian, and I know The Guardian's a toilet paper rag at the best of times, but we've got some douchebag going, oh, well, now we need to rethink the high pedestal we put our Anzacs on, because obviously they're not all, you know, amazing and wonderful. Fuck you to the moon, pal, and anybody else who thinks like you. You can kiss my big fat ass, right? These people deserve better, and you spineless, gutless bitches who think that it's okay to turn around and demonise these guys. You've never been over there. You've never been shot at. You've never been smacked. You probably deserve a few fucking smacks, to be fair. But you're running around, you're hiding behind your little pen, your paper, your Twitter feed, and your whatever the fuck else. These guys risk everything to come back here and be treated like shit. Australia, up your game. I want to see more Australians stand behind Ben Roberts-Smith. I want to see more Australians stand behind our veterans, current, future, present, past, men and women. Let's not forget it. Australia has a proud history of being ballsy as fuck, strong as fuck, and committed. Right? Erwin Rommel, one of, whether you like it or not, one of the greatest military generals in human history. If he had to take hell, would take Australians. There's a reason for it. When Australians have are in the right spot and right mind frame, they're the guys you want having your back. We're lucky enough in this country to have that quality of soldier being produced to defend our country, to look after you, and while all that's happening, we want to demonise them and say, oh, somebody got hurt in a wartime situation. It's a wartime situation. And until you've been there, you can shut your trap. Mr. Judge sitting there, oh, look at me, have another scotch or whatever it is you're doing, sneaking out of your little flask. I have no doubt there's some bullshit going on there too, right? The military's thrown Ben Roberts-Smith under the bus, the same way it's thrown hundreds of thousands of veterans for the last 40, 50 years, and probably before I can remember, right? Absolutely, it's time for Australians to stand up for this bloke and his ilk and look after, because there's absolutely, if they're going to treat our veterans like this, why in the fuck would any of these men and women want to stand and go and fight for us? They discovered when they got to Rwanda that they had their dicks in their hands. Nothing they could do, limited, all under control. You know, when they're in the other wars, dicks in their hands. They get to Afghanistan, again, no support. Things aren't going the way they're going, and some shit happens. Shit happens in wartime situations, right? If you don't think it does, you're a bigger deluded lunatic than I think you are. And while you're sitting here crapping on about climate change, that the weather's going to hurt your feelings, or that the voice of Parliament's going to make you feel better, these guys are over in foreign countries being shot at, right? You want to talk about war criminals? Let's not talk about the veterans who are sent over there to do a job. Let's talk about the politicians and bureaucrats who send them. They're the war criminals. They've got far more blood on their hands than any of these blokes could manage on their best day in the middle of a firefight. There's no doubt about it. Every single one of those politicians and bureaucrats that signs off on sending our boys and girls over there to war, have a good hard fucking look at yourself. You're the war criminal. You're the scumbag, right? And until you guys get it in your fucking thick, overpaid heads that you're the bad guys, the better off we're all going to be when that happens, because till that happens, mate, I'll keep standing up next to our veterans every day, all day, because fuck you to the moon. And Guardian, wipe your ass with your little piece of paper, mate. That was a bullshit article, and fuck you too.